Is it safe to take expired medicines? Hi, have you ever come across the dilemma of taking or tossing the long-expired medicines, believing expired medicines are harmful and ineffective? It turns out that drug expiration date may be more myth than fact. If you believe in science, be sure to stay tuned to understand better. Also, if you find the messages helpful, please leave the comment and say I subscribe. I will try my best to reply. Medication's expiry date. What does this mean to you in efficacy, potency, and safety? Imagine one day you suffer from headache. You reach your medicine cabinet, and only to find the paracetamol is more than a year out of date. Would you take it? Even if you decide the expired paracetamol remain efficacious to some extent, would you have any concern of its safety? Of course, why bother to worry if you are able to outsource a new stock? Perhaps you have probably been aware that all goods in supermarkets, not just medicines, have printed expiration date on the packaging to indicate the shelf life. So, does expiration date indicate the true point when the goods or medicines are no longer safe for consumption? Have you ever wondered about the true intentions for medicines to have expiration date specified by drug manufacturers? It turns out that in 1979, drug expiration date was required by law in the United States to be placed on medicine to reassure public its full potency and safety by the date. Sadly, drug makers only required by law to prove that medicines still safely work on whatever expiration date manufacturer decides to set, but not after the expired date. The critical point is the expiration date does not suggest medicines stop being effective or harmful scientifically. The medical database and literature, including Harvard Health Guide and Medscape General Medicine, support the following points. First, expiration date is a legal requirement started in 1979 to ensure full potency and drug safety. It means nothing to how long a drug lasts or harmful to use. Second, medical authorities come to agreement that expired pharmaceutical medicines remain safe to take, even those years after expiration, with a few exceptions: insulin, nitroglycerin, liquid antibiotics, and expired doxycycline. As for expired vaccines, there are also no adequate data to prove their harmful reactions, provided being kept under specific storage requirements. An expired vaccine's shelf life can be extended if its stability assessment studies pass. While drug potency degrades with time, vast majority of expired medicines still effective, even more than 10 years after their expiry date, especially if being kept in cool dark place, or refrigerated. Third, the study conducted by U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, back in 2000, as per U.S. military's request, to decide if $1 billion worth of expired drugs in military stockpile, facing the daunting process of destruction. This study reported 15 years after expiration date, more than 90% of both prescriptions and over-the-counter drugs have a good deal of their original potency and safety. Remember, the study of expiration date was done on pharmaceutical drugs. It may not necessarily be valid for natural supplements or herbs. A pharmacist at FDA in 1999 never quoted that expiration dates on drugs by manufacturers are for marketing rather than scientific reasons. An expired aspirin is a good example, being tested as 100% as effective and stable chemically, despite 2 to 3 years past expiration date. The drug makers admitted expiration date testing for long periods is impractical, as it would slow down the process of making new and improved formulation, so-called continuous improvement programs. Turnover is essential for drug makers to survive. A product lasts 10 years on shelf would not be profitable. Perhaps the expiry date is just a marketing strategy to make public spending more by restocking your medicine cabinet yearly. Wisdom dictates that avoiding expired medicines if your life does depend on expired drug to go. In contrast, the opposite may be true. If your life does not depend on an expired drug, take it and see what happens. Be the listeners to your intuition and exercise common sense before taking any medicine and supplement. Store any drugs or supplements as directed, best in cool, dark storage. Do you replace your medicine cabinet yearly? Share your answers below. We love to hear from you. Take-home message: expiration date printed on medication box, or bottle, in fact stands for certain legally required information, rather than what it actually infers, and not what we might think it means. However, if you want to be super safe, no harm to toss expired medicines, and buy new ones, in accordance to the cliché, better safe than sorry.